Namaste. Now we are in the Siddhanta Bindu, and in this part of the text we find the description of Sushupti, deep sleep. So in Sushupti, what happens, who remains, and who is Sakshi there? So all these points have been discussed by Madhusudana Saraswati, and in a particular name is given to the consciousness in the state of deep sleep. It is known as Prajna. So naturally, pra and ajna. So this is one way of splitting the word, and other is prajna, and that itself becomes prajna. So both are possible. And now he says prakarshena ajnatvat, because there is a kind of ignorance in the state of deep sleep, because in that particular state we are not aware of our own identity. So no thoughts, no intellect, nothing. So it's a kind of ignorance only. So it can be called as prajna. And vishesha avacheda bhavena prakrishta jnatva, or you can say prajna eva prajnaha, swarte and prate. So in that case it will be vishesha avacheda. So there is no particular adjunct as such or condition as such in the state of deep sleep. Tadacha antahkaranasya layepi tat samskarena avacheda na jiva bhava prasangaha. So this point we have seen that, okay, the internal organ, sense organ, so that has merged into its cause. But that samskara of that particular manas is present, and because of that impression, na jiva bhava prasanga. So we cannot say that there is no jiva at all in the state of deep sleep. It's not the case, because the samskara being present, so the jiva is also deemed to be present in that state. Nava sarvajñapattihi. So if there is no ignorance at all, then the jiva in the state of deep sleep would become equal to the omniscient Lord, Almighty. But it is not the case, because there is ajnana and jivatva is still there. So even if you say that jiva is Brahma, jiva is Ishvara, such thing does not take place in the state of deep sleep, because the difference is deep sleep is not a result of realization. It is actually a result of avidya shakti. So therefore, sushupti cannot be equated with the state of liberation. So distinction is there. Isha abheda pratipadanancha sharirendriyadi abhimana rahitatvena upacharat. So then why do you say that the individual soul is identical with the supreme soul? Then the answer is given that because there is no identity with the body, senses, ego, etc. in the state of deep sleep, it is only stated in the secondary sense, not to be taken in the primary sense of the word. So jiva abheda is there. Jiva is the same as Brahman, but that abheda in that particular state of deep sleep is aupacharika. He has not become one yet, because that particular identity or that particular oneness is achieved with the help of realization, not just deep sleep. So therefore, the difference between the state of deep sleep and liberation is very distinct here. Sushupti utkranti or bhedena. So we find a difference between sushupti and utkranti. And tat samskarasya cha nimitta karanatvena sakshi ashrita karyopadana koto apraveshat. So that particular samskara is not included in the upadana karana koto. That means in the list of the material cause. So that particular samskara is not included. Therefore, sakshi ashrita karyopadana koto apraveshat. So even though there is difference in the impressions, that impression is not still taken as one of the material cause. Therefore, na sakshi bhedaha. So actually, this particular problem was posed by the dualists, the Dvaitin, that because there is different some samskara or impression in the state of deep sleep, so there should be the sakshi bheda also. But the answer is given here that samskara bhedepi, it's not included in the upadana karana. Therefore, there is no sakshi bheda. Sakshi is still the same. Jagaranetu, but what happens in the wakeful state? There, antahkaranasya pramatrashrita karyopadana kotau praveshat tadbhedena pramatru bhedaha. So, but in the deep, in the wakeful state, antahkarana is the condition, and it is included in the list of all the karya depending on the pramata. So naturally, antahkarana being different, the pramata is also different, only in the wakeful state. But in the deep sleep, there is only one sakshi. There are no multiple sakshi. Sakshina evacha adhikopadhi visishtasya pramatrutvat na pratisandhana anupapattiriti. So therefore, however, the matter can be concluded now. He says, adhika upadhi visishtasya sakshinaha eva pramatrutvat. But in the deep sleep, who is the pramata ultimately? So actually, in all the three states, he is the pramata. Because savrittika manovachinna chaitanyam is the general definition accepted in the Vedanta. Savrittika mano avachinna chaitanya. So sakshi is a kind of consciousness delimited by mind which has an active thought wave. That means as long as the mind is active and functioning as the agent of the consciousness, that particular consciousness is given a name, sakshi. So therefore, sakshina evacha adhikopadhi visishtasya pramatrutvat. What is this adhikopadhi? This is savrittika manaha. So this is the extra condition, and because of that particular condition, the Chaitanya is known as sakshi. So therefore, when it comes into the wakeful state also, there is anusandhan, there is connectivity. So the connectivity is in the form of, I was in deep sleep, I didn't know anything, nakinchid avedisham. So this kind of connectivity is still felt after coming out. Now, Madhusudana Saraswati explains this with the help of Vartikakara Vakya, some authentic statements of Vartikara. Matrumana prabhedevi pratideham navidyate sakshi bahyarthavat yasmat sa atmetyuchyate tataha. Now he explains why that sakshi is understood as atma. He says, matru mana prabhedepi, there may be difference in the pramata, in the pramana. There pratideham na bhidyate sakshi, but the sakshi is not different in all the different bodies. This is important. That means the pramata is different, like XYZ. If three people are there, X, Y, Z, so the three are different. Matrubheda and Manabheda, because their eyes, his ears, his mouth may be different senses they are using, and the pramana may also be different. But one thing is common, that sakshi, and that sakshi is the observing consciousness, and it is atma ityuchyate tataha. So it is known as the common self in all the divergent bodies. Vyabhicharo mitho yadvat pramatradehe swasakshikah sarva matradi abhavartha sakshitvat na tadha atmanaha. So paraspara abhava, that means mutual absence or negation. During that period, during that particular division of time, there is vyabhicharaha mithaha yadvat. So there is, of course, the inconsistency, that is vyabhichara. Then Eshata Atma Antaryami Amritaha. So that particular Sakshi is referred to in the Upanishads as Esha Te Antaryami Amritaha. So to everybody it is stated the same thing. This consciousness is Sakshi and you refer to that. Now, Mithaha Yadvat Pramatradehe. So one Pramata, one Sakshi. So Pramata differs. So Sakshikaha, but there one Sakshikaha, Swa Sakshikaha means Atma Sakshikaha. So that Sarva Matradi Abhavartha Sakshitvat, that means Sarva Matradi Rupaha, Sarva Matradi Abhava Artha Sakshitvat. So Matradi, these are designated as Artha. That means the Matra themselves are the Artha. Sarva Matradi Abhava Artha Sakshitvat. So in that particular state, all these subtle elements and all the Padartha, they are not present in that particular deep sleep. So there, na tatha atmanaha. That means all these worldly objects and mental objects are absent in the deep sleep, but Atma is not absent. If Atma is also taken as absent in the state of deep sleep, then after coming out into the wakeful state, there would not be any recollection, but we all recollect. That means the Atma as the observer Sakshi is present in the state of deep sleep. So this is the very important point he is stating emphatically. Iti Vartikakara Padaihi. So this is what Sureshwaracharya stated in the Vartika. Vyavahara Dashayamapi Sakshi Bheda Nirakaranat. And you should not think that only in the state of deep sleep the Sakshi is same. Even in the Vyavahara Dasha, that means Jagrata Avastha, the Sakshi is identical, non-different only. Sushupta tad bheda kalpanam keshanchit vyamohaha eva ityavadheyam. So even if some people say that in the state of deep sleep, even the Sakshi is different, etc., is only a kind of ignorance. That means they are unable to understand the reality in its true sense, and therefore they are understanding it to be different, but it is not different, he says. None. Then a question arises. People have this kind of recollection also. That means after coming out of deep sleep, they recollect that sometimes they have very unsound sleep, heavy sleep, and they still feel that heaviness after coming out of that. Dukkham aham aswapsam iti kasyachit kadachit paramarshat. So sometimes people have this experience. Sushupto dukkha anubhavapyastu. Then we argue, that means the prima facie view, is that there is sorrow, sadness, heaviness in the deep sleep, that's all. So how do you Vedantin say that there is only bliss, joy, happiness in the state of deep sleep? How is it possible? The answer Madhusudan Saraswati gives, no, it's not true. The difference I'll tell you. Tadanim dukkha samagri virahena tadabhavat. So Madhusudan Saraswati points to the fact, logical fact, that in the state of deep sleep, there is no apparatus of sorrow. Because in the wakeful state also, whatever causes sorrow should be present in the state of deep sleep, then only we can accept the result in the form of sorrow. But we don't find any such tool or apparatus. Samagri is not there. Sukhasya cha, but then you may say that there should not be the apparatus of sukha also. You say sukha is there, dukkha is not there. And your logic is dukkha samagri is not there, sukha samagri is there. No, we don't say sukha samagri, but sukha is the very nature of Atma. Atmanaha sukharupatvat. So therefore nityatvat. It is always present. शय्यादेः असमीचीनत्वेन च दुःखमित्युपचारात्. So actually the joy everybody is experiencing in the state of deep sleep is nothing but his own true nature. And whatever heaviness, sorrow, or you say the uh, discomfort, whatever one feels, that is only a kind of superimposition, a kind of secondary usage because of the uneven bed or something. So it is only secondary, dukkham aham swapsam, etc., that kind of recollection. Athava avasthatrayasyapi traividhyangikarat sushuptavapi dukkham upapadyate. See, in a way, jagrat, swapna, sushupti, avasthatraya, traividhyangikarat. Further, each can be divided into three. That means jagrat, three types, swapna, three types, sushupti, three types. This is possible. Actually, such thing is explained in the Utpatti Prakarana of Yoga Vasishta also. There we come across the 7 Ajnana Bhumika, 7 Jnana Bhumika. And while explaining the Ajnana Bhumika, he has explained the 7. 7 means Sushupti being taken as only one state. There is no division further. So therefore, the Jagrata Avastha 3 types, Swapna Avastha 3 types, and 1 Sushupti, 3, 3, 1. So 7. That's what Yoga Vasishta says. But Madhusudan Saraswati finds further division of even Sushupti. Here you find that. How? Tathahi 1. Jagrat, Jagrat. So this is the first state of Jagrat. In the wakeful state also, we are further awakened. This is Pramadjnanam. That means when the Sattva Guna is very dominant and we are able to get right knowledge of the object, it is Pramadjnana. And that particular moment, the condition or the state is Jagrat, Jagrat. Then Jagrat Swapna is the second. This is a kind of Jagrat. Jagrat Swapna. That means while being awakened also, we get a kind of illusion like dream. How? When we mistake one for another, like mistaking a rope for a snake, that's all. So this is Jagrat Swapna. Because we are awakened, we are looking at something, but mind has not totally perceived the object in its real nature. It has imposed some other thing. It is Jagrat Swapna. And then what happens? Then Shramadina Stabdhi Bhavaha. Sometimes it so happens that we are so much exhausted, exerted, and so tired. Then at that moment, whatever happens to the body, a kind of total calmness, quietness, it is Jagrat Sushupti. So the three states are explained. Now we come to Swapna. What is Swapna? Jagrat. Jagrat Swapna, we understood. But it is opposite. Swapna Jagrat. How to understand that? He says, Swapne mantra adi praptihi. This is very beautiful experience that in your dream you get some mantra from a teacher, or some realized souls may give their darshana to you, or your favorite deity will appear in the Swapna. It is all Swapna Jagrat. And that's why the Ramaraksha Stotra was revealed to Buddha Kaushika, and Buddha Kaushika Maharshi got that instruction in the dream only. And immediately he had composed the Ramaraksha Stotra, and it is this particular state is known as Swapna Jagrat. We have Swapna Swapna also, because in a dream also, we tell somebody that we had seen a dream and we are telling them, but after waking up, we understand that both were dreams. Very typical experience we get. And this is Swapna Swapna. And this Jagrat Dashayam Kathanchit Kathayitum Nashakyate. But that cannot be narrated in the state of awakened state. Swapna avasthayancha yatkinchit anubhuyate tat swapna sushuptihi. And in Swapna also, whatever we experience, it is absolutely Swapna Sushupti because of the Tivra Samvega. Evam Sushupti avasthayamupi satviki sukhakara vritti. So now the three types of sushupti. The first one is sushupti jagrat, in which we have a kind of sattva guna vritti, satviki vritti, and that satviki vritti gives total joy, comfort. So that then tadanantaram sukham aham aswapsamiti paramarshaha. So after that only we get this, I had a very sound sleep. Then what is this sushupti swapna? So when the rajoguna is dominant, and then what, because of this particular dominance of rajoguna only, we have the recollection in the form of I had a bad sleep, very uncomfort, etc. So this is rajoguna sushupti swapna, and this is what they were talking about. Now Madhusudan Saraswati says, as such, there is no dukkha, but if you want to further understand that particular state, now you take this. Because of rajoguna, there is some dukkha, and you are recollecting that after coming out of the sleep. And sushupti is nothing but the dominance of tamoguna. In sushupti, when tamoguna is very dominant, then we don't know anything. Then gadham aham aswapsam, moodhaha aham aswapsam. So I slept very heavily. I don't recollect anything at all. So this thing will appear. Yadhacha etat tatha. So further, Madhusudan Saraswati makes clear, he refers to the original source, says Vasishtha Vartikamrutado Spashtam. So all these divisions are not my creation, but actually I have just studied the text and borrowed them. These ideas originally belong to Yoga Vasishtha and Vartikamrita. Evam Adhyatmam Vishwaha Adhibhutam Virat Adhidaivam Vishnuhu. So further we can make the divisions. The first one is Adhyatma. That means in the spiritual level, the consciousness is Vishwa, and in the physical level, it is Virat, and among the gods, it is Vishnu. So three names. And again, Adhyatma, we have Jagrat. Adhidaiva, we have Palanam. Adhibhutam, Sattvagunaha. So Sattvaguna, Palanam, and Jagrat, these three are related. Similarly, in the Adhyatma, we have Taijasa. This is the third classification. Adhibhutam, Hiranyagarbha, and Adhidaivam, Brahma. The same three can be continued. Adhyatmam, Swapnaha, Adhidaivam, Srushtihi, Adhibhutam, Rajogunaha. Evam, Adhyatmam, Prajnaha, Adhibhutam, Avyakritam, Adhidaivam, Rudraha. Again, Adhyatmam, Sushupti, Adhidaivam, Pralayaha, Adhibhutam, Tamogunaha. Evam Adhyatma Adhibhuta Adhidaivanam Ekatvad. So much classification is given, but all these are actually not different. Ekatvad. There is only one reality. Because of that particular dominance of the guna, it is perceived as different, but as such it is not different. So this Pranava Avayavatraya Sahitanam Upahitanam Aikya Upasanaya. And this refers to our Mandukya Upanishad and Karika also. So where a kind of upasana is recommended, so we should put our mind on the three syllables of Omkara, Akara, Ukara, Makara. And these three actually relate to Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. They further relate to the Vishwa, Prajna, Taijasa, further relate to Jagrat, Virat, and Hiranyagarbha. So the same thing, you may make several classifications, but throughout one common thing is percolated, that is consciousness, Brahma, Atma, Atma cha Brahma. So this way we should understand the Advaita. Upasanaya. So when a person meditates on these three syllables of Omkara and understands how each syllable refers to a particular state of consciousness, then Hiranyagarbha Loka Praptihi. And then such meditator will reach the abode of Hiranyagarbha. This is further explained in the Brahma Sutra also. Karyam Badariraha. So, in the discussion as to which Brahma a realized soul reaches, Badari Maharshi says it is Karya Brahma, whereas Jaimini Maharshi says it is the absolute Brahma. But Shankaracharya explains that actually Jaimini Maharshi view is Purva Paksha, and we take the view of Badari as the Siddhanta Paksha. So therefore, all the realized souls through Upasana, Krama Mukti, reach the Hiranyagarbha only. Only the Brahmajnani, he becomes Brahma. So therefore, there is Sadhya Mukti, not Krama Mukti. Antahkarana Shuddhi Dvara Krama Muktischa. So all these souls first reach the Hiranyagarbha, then Krama Mukti. So gradually they get to the ultimate reality through Antahkarana Shuddhi. And that's why it is said, Brahmana Sahate Sarve Samprapte Pratisanchare Parasyante Kritatmanaha Pravishanti Parampadam. So this shloka is very often quoted, that Samprapte Pratisanchare. That means at the time of final dissolution, actually all these realized souls together with Hiranyagarbha, they merge into the final Parabrahma. So Parasyante Kritatmanaha Pravishanti Parampadam. So that is said. Etat Sarvopadhi Nirakaranena. Then whatever has been expounded so far is only an exposition of the Upadhi, the conditions. And Neti, the Upanishad exhorts us to discard everything, whatever is Drishya appearing, just discard that, remove that. And whatever is limited, discard it. And this way, while discarding all the matter manifesting everything, all conditions, we get to the reality. Sarvopadhi Nirakaranena. So this is exactly what the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad tells us. Ki Adha Ataha Adeshaha Neti. So the Adesha, the teaching is in the form of Neti. And Prakruta Etavatvam hi Pratishedhati Tato Braviti cha Bhuvyaha. So the Brahma Sutra also describes what is intended there. It says, it's actually the Upanishads do not negate everything. They negate all this manifested world, but further they say, Asti Brahmeti Chedveda, one Brahma is there. So Veshtavyaha, so Vijijñasitavyaha, Asthulam, Ananu, Akhrasvam, Adirgham, ityadi. So this is actually a very important point that we have to understand from the Upanishads, that they are very clear. They say that all the manifested world other than the Brahman, if you have the feeling that, you discard it. Mano buddhi ahankara chittane naham. So you discard. And whatever remains, it is not Shunya like Buddhism. It is actually Brahman. And that attributeless Brahman is the reality. That is Nirvikara, Nirvisesha, Nirguna. So these are all given, undivided, unchanging. That particular reality is Brahman. So there, Sakshi Chaitanya Matra Jnanena tu, then when all these Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, with all subdivisions, if they are removed, then whatever remains as the Sakshi Chaitanya. And that particular Sakshi Chaitanya, if realized, leads to moksha. So thus, he very clearly states here that one should first discard all the conditions, and whatever exposition has been made, it is actually to tell that these are not Brahman. Lest you may sit on that and you may simply think that this is Brahman. Therefore, first they have stated all this, and whatever is possible there, that division they have made clear, and finally said, this is not Brahman, you discard it. Then somebody may say, then if at all it is to be discarded, why do you unnecessarily expound it? But the purpose is not in elaborating the process, all these things, but saying that whatever you have been understanding as Brahman is actually not Brahman, not in that sense. Sakshadeva moksha iti. Tadevam. So in this manner, Trayanamapi avasthatraya sahitanam. So all the 9, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, with internal changes or divisions, together they put to 9. So all these 9 states, Vishwa Taijasa Prajnanam Avidyatmakatvat. So Vishwa Taijasa Prajna. These were explained in the previous lessons. Nothing but Vishwa, Jagradavastha, condition Chaitanya. Taijas, it is the Chaitanya having the Swapnavastha as the condition. And Prajna, it is the consciousness having Sushupti for its condition. When the conditions are removed, there is one Sakshi Chaitanya. Avidyatmakatvad. And all these states, all these conditions are nothing but the result of avidya. Therefore, Drushyatvenacha, because they are the product of avidya, avidya is ignorance, because they are matter of experience. Drushya does not mean visible, perceived, but here matter of experience. Mithyatvat. So they are all mithya. That you should understand. What is mithya? That which is negated later is mithya. Or that which is absent in its locus is mithya. For example, we say cloth, but as such there is no cloth, only the threads. But it is a kind of gross intelligence or gross perception that there is cloth, and we are using that. But if we get the Shastra Drushti, then we realize that it is only thread, the arrangement of threads, fabrication of threads. It's only that much, that a name is given to that. So, mithyatvat, then we understand anupahitaha kevalaha sakshi. That Sakshi Chaitanya is without any condition, absolutely single. And Turiyakhyaha, he is known to be the Turiya. Turiya means the fourth. And he is known as Ahamasmi. This is what Madhusudan Saraswati connecting with the shloka. Sushupti eka siddhaha tad eko vasishtaha shivah kevaloha. So that Sushupti eka siddhaha ekaha vasishtaha kevalaha shivaha. So that point he is now connecting. Ahamasmi ityartha. Evam vyavaharataha sarva vyavastha upapattehe. Paramarthatah kasyapi vyavasthayah abhavat na kapi anupapattihi. So it says all this classification, all this exposition, this is possible only in the empirical state. At the empirical level, you do everything. But at the absolute level, actually all these are meaningless. The divisions as Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, further divisions stating that one is Vishwa, one is Taijasa, one is Prajna, all this is only till we get final realization. So therefore, they are not of that much importance. But it is only for their empirical purpose they have been explained. So therefore, whatever method of exposition you may adopt, nakapi anupapatti, as such there is no problem at all. That's what Sriharsha also says. Vayam brahmastram ekamadaya charatam sangarakelishu. So ultimately we have taken one brahmastra and we are happy. Because now once we have taken resort to the Brahma, then we don't find any need to go after several things. And we don't need to expound this world also further, because it is like the perception of snake on the rope. So why to analyze, elaborate, discuss about the snake? Instead, we understand, realize the rope and remain content. Vistarena chetat prapanchitam asmabhir vedanta kalpalatikayam iti uparamyate. So because it has been already explained in detail in my Vedanta Kalpataru text. Now I resist from further elaboration. Now I stop in this. So thus the 8th shloka has been explained. Now we get to the 9th shloka, and here Madhusudana Saraswati now gives few sentences to connect with the shloka. He says, Nanu, this is a kind of akshepa sangati. Nanu, Jagrat Swapna Sushuptyavasa Sahitanam Trayanam Pitad Abhimaninam Mithyatvat Sakshanopi Mithyatvam Syat Avisheshat Iti Ashankya. So this is akshepa sangati, ashanka. What is that? He says, just now you have explained that all Jagrat Swapna Sushupti and Abhimani Devata, Vishwa Taijasa Prajna, all this is illusion. You have just proved that. Mithyatvam, Avidya Janyatvat, Drishyatvat cha Mithyatvam. You have just explained. Now this amounts to say that the Sakshi is also Mithya. Everything is Mithya other than Brahma. Sakshi must be Mithya. Ashankya. Vishesha Abhidhanena Sakshina Satyatvam Aha. Now, Adi Shankaracharya wants to enlighten us that the Sakshi is not illusion. Sakshi is distinct. That Vishesha Abhidhana is now here. So, what is that Sakshi? Now he says in the 9th shloka, Apivyapakatvat hitatva prayogat swatas siddha bhavat ananyashrayatvat jagat tuchhametat samastam tadanyat tadeko vasishtah shivah kevaloham apivyapakatvat hitatva prayogat swatas siddha bhavad ananyashrayatvat jagat tuchhametam samastam tadanyat tadeko vasishtah shivah kevaloham. It says, now Madhusudana Saraswati is explaining. He says, Na druhtehe drashtaram pashyeriti sakshinam prakritya. In the Upanishads, the one particular passage begins with the treatment of this particular Sakshi, nature of Sakshi. What is that? Na druhtehe drashtaram pashyehe. It actually is the beginning of the passage. Na druhtehe drashtaram pashyehe. That means you should never, or you cannot perceive the perceiver. Druhtehe drashtaram na pashyehe. And here it says Sakshinam prakritya. Thus it actually begins with the context of Sakshi. Aton yadartam. Further in the Vakyasesha it says other than this is valueless, is useless, it says. In this way, Sakshinaha anyat saksham sarvam jagat tuchham. So this is very clear here that anyadartam, that means other than the Sakshi is illusion or unreal, or you can say it is useless. But natu sakshinam. So the Shruti does not negate the Sakshi. Sakshi is present there. So this way, Sakshi is there and Saksham is not there. Artam. Tucham is mithya. Artam, that is badhitam. Now he says, Badha avadhitvat brahmadishthanataya jnatatvacha. Acha, then Sakshi is present there. What is the logic? Why do you say that the Sakshi is present in all the states? Sakshi is not discarded. Sakshi is not illusion. How? Then he says, Badha avadhitvat. That means Purushavadhikaha badhaha. That means everything you can negate, but you cannot negate the negating factor, the negating consciousness. It can never be negated, because whoever tries to negate, he is the tasya atmanaha rupatvat, atma swarupatvat. So whoever tries to say that there is no soul, It amounts to say that I am not here. I am not here. It's not possible. So vacho vyaghata. Similarly, Sakshi is there, everything else is discarded, and Sakshi is the limit of all denial. Brahma adhishtanataya. Then whatever illusion takes place, that should have some base. To whom? And final base is Sakshi. So therefore, all the Brahma may be discarded, okay. But the base of that, the locus of that cannot be denied. And thus, the Sakshi has been understood. Tad badhagrahaka abhavacha ityadi anukta samuchayarthopi shabdaha. So here, api vyapakatvat, in the original text, the 9th shloka, the shloka begins with the word api vyapakatvat. Now Madhusudan Saraswati says, dekho, here, tad badha grahaka abhavacha. That means there is no apparatus or there is no factor that can lead to the denial of Sakshi also. See, with the help of what you can know the absence of yourself. If there is other than the self, you can take it and say. But everywhere you are there, you cannot deny your own existence. So therefore, badha grahaka abhavacha. So these are actually not stated, but it should be understood. Therefore, api. So that is the third. Adha yadalpam tan martyamiti shrutehe parichinnatva tuchhatvayoho samavyaptatvat. Parichinnatva tuchhatva nivrutti ityaha vyapakatvat. Vyapakatvam. Now here, yat alpam, that whichever occupies limited space, tan martyam, it is actually subject to decay, that perishes, that has no permanence, therefore it is impermanent. This much. Iti shrutehe, therefore whatever is parichinna is tuchha. In the mithyatva anumana also, jagan mithya drishyatvat, jagan mithya parichinnatvat. So that hetu is given, and the same hetu is applied here. Parichinnatva tuchhatvayoho samavyaptatva. So whatever is parichinna is tuchha. That means mithya. See, and whatever is mithya is definitely parichinna. And Brahman or the Sakshi is not parichinna, therefore not mithya. Parichinnatva tuchhatva nivrutti ityaha. So therefore, parichinnatva and tuchhatva, these are not there in the Sakshi. Api vyapakatvat. So the Sakshi, what is the true nature of Sakshi? He is vyapaka. He is all-pervading. He is not limited to few states or few bodies. And sarvam khalvidam brahmeti sarvatmatva upadeshena deshakala aparichinnatvat akashadinancha deshakala parichinnatvepi apekshika mahatvena vyapakatva upacharat. Then desha kala parichinnatvepi akashadina. So that space, time, whatever are vibhu, they are also stated to be vyapaka, but it is only in the secondary sense. Their vyapakatva is not like that of Brahma. Brahma is all pervading, but you cannot say Akasha is also all pervading because Atmanaha Akashasam Bhutaha. The space is also stated to have a point of its birth. It is created, originated. It's very typical. We cannot generally understand that. But even in the Big Bang timeline, you find after the Planck era, so that means 10 to the power of minus 43. After that, actually there is no matter at all. And without matter, how can you understand the space? Because somebody describes space as arrangement of matter, that's all. Like arrangement of events is time, arrangement of matter is space, but there is no matter at all. because matter is a later production, maybe after 1 second of the Big Bang. Till that, the femto nanoseconds only. And in that particular very, very minute part of the time, there was not even space, time. Because time begins when something is created, because it is relative. Only when something is there, in relation with that, you can say space and time. So therefore, in the singularity, there cannot be any space-time curvature. And now, therefore, he says, this space is all-pervading, but not exactly like the Brahman. Deshakala aparichinnatvad akashadinancha deshakala parichinnatve api. So actually, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma says that everything is Brahma. Means even Akasha, Kala, Dik, everything should be Brahma. So Brahma is more pervading than all these, because these are all limited bodies, limited entities, but that Brahma is unlimited. Apekshika mahatvena vyapakatva upacharat. So then why do you use the word? They are also all pervading. It is only in relation with the other. This is only relative term that Akasha etc. are stated to be all pervading. Apekshika mahatva, not Swarupa mahatva. Nanu sarva vyapakatvena nityatvad bhavarupatvacha atma na dukha nivritti rupaha napi sukha rupaha. So this is again further discussion. Somebody is saying that Atma is neither Sukha Rupa nor Dukkha Rupa. That means bliss or absence of bliss, both are not the nature of soul. Even the Nyaya Shastra says the same. Then bliss is not the nature of soul. It is something obtained from outer sources. Sukhasya anityatvena, so that Sukha is impermanent. Nityatma Swarupa Anupapattehe. Therefore, we don't accept that Advaita theory that Sukha is eternal and it is the nature of self. We don't accept it. And Tathacha Atma Swarupu Moksho Apurushartha Eva. So in that case, then that Atma Swarupa is Apurushartha. That means one need not seek moksha or long for moksha, because what do you obtain? What do you gain after getting the moksha? Ultimately, you don't gain anything. So therefore, neither sukha nor dukkha, if it is the moksha, then we don't require it. That cannot be any purushartha at all. Iti ashankya. So thus being the view of the dualists and especially the Nayayika, it is said there, hitatva prayogat. So this is the second the hetu. First, api vyapakatva, hitatva prayogat. The hitatva prayoga is explained. Hitatvam, that is purusharthatvam. Tad etat preyaha putrat preyaha vittat preyaha anyasmat sarvasmat antarataram yat ayamatma. It's actually whatever is within everybody, that is the dearest to everybody than anything else, than his own children, his own wealth and everything. So what a person likes more is own self. And thus, yo vai bhumatat sukham esha paramanandah esha hyeva anandayati vijnanam anandam brahma ityadi vishrutibihi tasya paramananda rupatva upadesha. And all these shruti scriptural sentences say that the self is verily of the nature of bliss, and whatever is all pervading is actually bliss. This is Paramanandaha, the ultimate state of bliss. And because of this only, etasya matrameva bhutan vipajivanti, in Taittiriya also say that a portion of that bliss the soul gets, and he also gets ananda. So all this is discussed in the Adhikarana in Brahma Sutra, Anandamaya Adhikarana, the 6th Adhikarana in the first pada of Brahma Sutra, first chapter. So there आनंदमयोभ्यासात् विकार शब्दान् नेति चेन्न प्राचुर्यात् तद्धेतु व्यपदेशाच्च तद्धेतु व्यपदेशाच्च. That means Brahman or the soul is stated to be the source of all bliss. So how can you say that there is no bliss at all? This is what the Vedantins wants to say. Tadhetu vyapadeshacha mantravarnikam eva chidiyate netronupapattehe. And that cannot be the nature of individual soul, but it is Brahma. So when the individual soul also experiences, you understand it is the Brahman. Kamacha nanumanapeksha asminasya tadyogam shasti. And finally, everything enters into the Brahman only, and it is blissful. And if that, in this way, all the scriptural sentences, they actually teach us that the Brahman is of the nature of bliss. Tasya cha nityatvepi loke dharmajanya tatad antahkarana vritti vyangyataya tad utpatti vinasha upacharaha. Then how do you say that bliss is created and bliss is lost? Why? It actually belongs to that particular expressing agent, not to the bliss. See, there is sound everywhere. The moment I switch on my instrument like radio or something, then the signals are caught and they are actually transmitted. So I listen to that only when I switch on, and when I switch off, it's gone. But actually the sound is not gone. All the sounds, everything, they are there, but only the catching agent is the transistor or something. Similarly, man or the mind, it is actually the agent, and depending on that, people say, when that actually expresses that, people say, now bliss is created and later it is lost, etc. So this is only in the secondary sense. The death or the birth, they belong to the condition, not to the original. Therefore, sukha is never lost. Ajnana vyavahitasya cha tasya apraptasyaiva jnanamatrat avidya nivritya praptiriva bhavatiti tad uddeshena mumukshu pravritti upapattihi. So, because the wheeling power of ignorance, avarana shakti, that comes in between the true nature and the individual soul, tasya apraptasyaiva jnanamatradi avidya nivritya. So actually, when there is a kind of understanding experience, then praptiriva bhavati. It appears as if it is newly obtained, but as such, the bliss is not newly obtained. It is verily the nature of Atma, but the mind makes all this illusion. Taduddeshena. So only for that purpose only, mumukshutva pravritti upapattihi. So all these efforts of mumukshu means a person who desires liberation. So whatever he puts in, whatever tapasya he performs, whatever swadhyaya he makes, whatever dhyana he does, so all this is possible only to get that bliss. But how? So removing the avidya, then whatever is there, it actually shines forth. Adhyastasya prapanchasya dukkha swarupasya adhishtanatvat saeva abhava iti dukkha bhava rupatvenapi tasya purusharthata. So the entire world experience is only superimposed on the Brahman and dukkha rupasya, and it is of the nature of dukkha. And when avidya is removed with the help of vidya, then automatically the avidya karya is also removed in the form of prapancha. When dukkha along with its effect has gone, then people say dukkha bhava. So that is also purushartha. Or ananda avapti, that is also purushartha. So that's why in the Vedanta Paribhasha, towards the end of the text, Prayojana Paricheda, he says, dukkha bhavaha ananda vaptirva mokshaha. So it is actually observing the same thing from two directions. Thus, nanu mokshe sukham samvedyate nava. Now, he further discusses the point. See, now tell me, in the state of liberation, this Sukham, is it experienced or not? Is it felt or not? Because generally it is with the help of mind that we experience everything. And as long as mind is there, there cannot be liberation. So there should not be the experience of bliss also. And if you say bliss is the very nature of Brahman, but can it be experienced? Because the experiencing agent is the mind, which is lost. So how can there be the experience of bliss? Or how is it manifest? That is the problem. And this we will discuss in the next class. And till then, please take care. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om.